Meeting, monthly board meeting. Next week, some of the board members, some of us will be at the Virginia School Board Association's annual conference. And so this is the only meeting that we will have in November. At this time, I will ask you to stand for a moment of silence. Amen. You may be seated. This time, Dr. Bracy, will you introduce the students that will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the statement?
Thank you, Chairman Parent, and good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. I would like to welcome the students from Lakeview Elementary School tonight, and with us we have two students. We have Sabrina Bass and Asia Monet Hawkins. And if the two of you would come forward at this time, please. And while you come in, I see Assistant Principal, Mr. DeVoe. And I will give you some background on our two students. Ms. Bass is a fourth grade honor roll student and a member of She Matters Boys and Girls Club. She's also an actress, singer, and dancer. She auditioned for Disney and made the cut. She has also been featured in a magazine. Sabrina sings in the choir, choreographs the praise team dance, and is a member of the Junior Usher Board. She volunteers with the church to feed the needy. She plans to be an entrepreneur, owning a spa and dance academy. She is the daughter of Sherry Rollins, and if her mother and any other family that's here with her tonight, would you all please stand at this time to be recognized? Leading us in the pledge, Asia Monet Hawkins, fourth grader at Lakeview Elementary School, is an honor roll student and a member of Beautiful Loyally United Sisterhood, better known as Blush, and Odyssey of the Mind. She is a ballet dancer, she sings in the choir, and is a member of the Junior Usher Board. Aisha also makes yearly donations to charity. She plans to become an aerospace engineer. She is the daughter of Breonna Morrell and granddaughter of Linda Morrell. And if the family is present, would you please stand at this time and be recognized?
May you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Now will we be having these announcements about good things happening at Lakeview Elementary School. We have the following clubs and organizations. Let's start with Chrome. Chrome is a club for 5th and 6th graders who are interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. It provides students with the opportunity to create robots using Legos provided through Lego Education. The students are creating robots and recycling center in response to the Lego We Do challenge. which also allows students to help educate others in importance of reducing, reusing, and recycling. Simple machines are created to operate their recycling center, and each make competition and help students throughout the district in order to showcase their skills. The club meets January through May. Next, we have Blush and Gentlemen's Club. The mission of Blush and Gentlemen's Club at Lakeview is to help reveal, nurture, and expand the potential of our students in order for them to be great leaders of tomorrow. They take personal interest in their community by participating in fundraisers, coat and sock drives for the less fortunate, as well as create school projects that build the spirit of the school community. The club sharpens their social skills, build their self-confidence, teach effective problem-solving skills, and teaches the importance of having empathy and giving back. Next, we have Odyssey of the Mind. Odyssey of the Mind is an international creative problem-solving program that engages students in their learning by allowing their knowledge and ideas to come to life in an exciting, productive environment. Participants build self-confidence, develop life skills, create new friendships, and are able to recognize and explore their true potential. We are fielding 2 teams this year, Division 1, grades 3 through 5, and primary team grades K through 2. Next, we have Battle of the Books. Battle of the Books promotes reading and introducing new literature to 5th grade students. Teams are encouraged to read and answer the questions based upon the select titles. Students at Lakeview are reading and responding to the 10 required books. Last but not least, we have Elite Champions. Beginning the second 9 weeks, we will work with a selected group of young men to strengthen their academic and social foundations through the school seminars, field trips, community services, projects, and other exciting activities. We are building elite champions. What does it take to be an elite? A strong emphasis on education, learnership, integrity, teamwork, and excellence. Community leaders of tomorrow are being created today.
Academically, grades 1 through 3 are being introduced to LEGO Education Story Starter, which is an award-winning resource that kickstarts students' creativity and boosts their reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. Students will work together to create and build stories with LEGO bricks and figures, then use the unique story visualizer software to visualize, write, and communicate their work. Is an innovative way of teaching a wide range of essential skills. In grades K through 6, we are also implementing an after-school math program, which will allow students an opportunity to gain extra help in math by being exposed to activities that are fun and encourage the use of manipulatives to solve real-world experiences. Through bi-weekly guidance lessons in grades K through 6, we are learning and using character traits to prepare us to be positive, productive citizens. Last but not least, with all that we are learning, we are also giving back to our community by having a sock drive for the homeless, making placemats for the nursing home, conducting a Kindness Rocks project, having our first angel tree, and collecting for a food drive. We have partnerships with the IC Norcom High School boys basketball team and Dominion Kojic Church. 3. I am a proud Lakeview Elementary Dolphin, where we are destined to be great. To achieve our best, we promise to be focused on learning, acting respectful, never irresponsible, contributing to safety where you and I are in control. We're fancy, we're flawless, we're the Lakeview Elementary Dolphins. Thank you.
Mr. Deborah.
Well, I tell you, Asia and Sabrina, you are both award-winning students. I mean, I'm telling you, I know that your parents and people that came out tonight to support you are very, very proud of you. Our board is very proud of you, and I know that our future is going to be in good hands because of what you're accomplishing. So congratulations. Now, we have a little token of our appreciation for you coming tonight, and I think it might help you carry the load just a little bit easier. So congratulations to both of you, and God bless you. Thank you.
And God bless y'all.
Could we have your attention for one more second? Could my Lakeview staff please stand and be recognized for showing up tonight?
Thank you all.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you all for coming, and the Lakeview staff and those students. I've had the privilege of being in Lakeview first thing in the morning to hear everyone do that recital. And it's truly amazing. You all have done a great job, and staff, we appreciate that.
Okay, the next item is our mission statement. The mission of Portsmouth Public Schools is to engage all students in learning that will foster academic excellence and responsible citizenship. And we certainly have seen that tonight with our students. Thank you. At this time, Madam Clerk, attendance, please. Board members, please indicate your attendance. There we go. All right.
8 members present, 1 member absent. Reverend Fleming is out of town.
Thank you. Board members, I call your attention to the approval of the agenda. We have one item that will, on 10.2, electronic vote, school board policy KF, distribution of non-official information materials has been removed. We will be voting on DA, management of funds. So that the agenda is being revised. So you'll be voting on a revised agenda.
Move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please indicate your preference for electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from our student representative, Ian Robertson. Mr. Robertson?
Y'all can hear me all right? Good evening, Chairman, Superintendent, members of the board. What's up? Yeah, everyone in attendance.
You just make it just all just,
I mean, I'm not gonna try to be real with y'all.
there you go.
Yeah.
We're good.
So I'm happy to say that I had the opportunity to hold my first focus group last
I
week.
saw that on Facebook.
I got to hear opinions and concerns from several high school students from all around the district. I sat with Student Advisory Council held by Dr. Bracy and asked students to participate in the district's budget survey and give their opinions on and ideas on how Portsmouth Public Schools can to better allocate those funds that we're going to be receiving. A few major points that they brought up.
Okay.
We're increasing the money that would go towards field trips so that students can get out in the world more instead of being in stuffy classrooms, and, which I completely agree with. Field trips are fun and educational. Enough more Students also want more career and technical programs in the schools. We've gotten a lot more in recent years. The kids want more for different paths. Not everyone's trying to go to college, but everyone's trying to get a career. And one of the big ones that I heard from the students was a class to kind of continue on our personal finance classes, to expand on the curriculum a little bit, to give more information on how to handle real world, like adult issues, like doing taxes and stuff. I've taken personal finance. I cannot tell you how to do a tax. But I feel like we definitely should look into that. It's the board's pleasure to expanding the curriculum. Yeah, and students also would support general repair to the schools, better sports equipment. Some of our stuff is a little dated, so we could put some money there. So says the students. Yeah, so it's coming from students that know what's best for them and their peers. And I feel this can really help the board determine what we need to do to make things better. I'm planning on holding groups similar to this to get more information, possibly on just how the students are feeling now. Also, just one more thing.
Sure.
This time of year is that seniors are starting to apply to colleges, and that is a very scary process. I can tell you firsthand. I'm stressing out over it right now, but paying for college is not fun, not necessarily easy for everyone. Something I just found out was that on the Portsmouth Public Schools website there is a scholarship tab, which I'm definitely going to be using, and I'm going to be encouraging all the seniors to use that opportunity, that resource to try to make college a little easier. Thank you.
I think, hold up, I think Ms. Hines has a question.
You know, it's
What's
always
up?
me coming.
Of course it is.
And I forget where my button is, I'm sorry. Don't knock it on the wall at me. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to say happy end of the first quarter. You're
Thank you.
halfway through this first semester, so
Almost there.
enjoy your day off tomorrow.
Thank you.
I do have a couple of questions. You talked about field trips.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we talking about specific field trips like for career pathways, or are we talking about more general field trips like trips to the Smithsonian or the Chrysler Art that are more worldly and just of general interest? And the reason I ask is because as we look at our career and tech programs, which is the second bullet I wrote down, we're also looking at externships outside of the building where students would be able to go and do a semester of hands-on work or shadowing. That would be, you know, I hate to say a field trip for your career, but it really is real world for your career. So I'm going to go back to the first thing and say the number of field trips. Are we looking at general world, or you don't have to give me a, you know,
Yeah.
but as I'm looking at this through different lenses, I would just really like to know if, you know, when I was in high school, we went to Washington, D.C. and just, you know, ran crazy. We didn't run crazy, Mom and Dad, I promise. But we did go into the museums. We were able to do that stuff with chaperones that was more worldly, not so much confined or SOL driven as we usually get. I love the expansion of personal economics and finance. My question was, do they teach you anything about stocks and bonds and investing in Econ and Person 1, you know, I mean, because I had somebody tell me from my first paycheck, put, you know, X amount away and start making a rainy day fund, but that was just because somebody loved me to tell me that, you know, not because you've heard it somewhere else, and that is a hard thing to do, so I wanted to ask that question. And the other thing is, when you do more of these focus groups, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but are you focusing on high school? Have you done anything, are you thinking about doing anything with like middle school students? Because
Yes.
we really need their input
Yeah.
as they come into the high school as well.
Absolutely.
And then I'm done. So I know I threw a lot at you, I'm sorry,
All
but
right.
thank you.
You want me to?
Sure, if you want to, or it's just things for you to
I can hit these
consider.
all up. I'm definitely focusing on the high school students. I do have plans to go reach out to the middle school students because they're going to be in high school students, so they need to be making these decisions. With the field trips, definitely more worldly, like you were saying, museums and stuff. Things that if a student is interested in a class and that course type of thing, like art, like you're gonna go to a museum. So if they may not get the necessary drive from the classroom if they to pursue that, but if they say, hey, you want to go to a museum? And they're like, yeah, I want to go to a museum. And then they become an artist. Stuff like that, stuff that will get them out and further their, I think definitely career stuff would be received well by the students. I can tell you, I can give you a list of people that would go crazy over that.
And I think what I hear you saying is a more well-rounded approach.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We're not through. Ms. Atkinson?
Thank you. Ian, great
Questions?
report.
Thank you.
I know you're getting jitters, but if you can relate to the seniors that next week, November 13th through the 17th, several Virginia colleges is waiving the application fees, so that will be the perfect time to apply
Absolutely.
if
Okay.
you want to go to a Virginia school.
All right.
I have a question. Were the questions on field trips, Gail, were they asking more about funding? In other words, when I think of the field trips, I think about a classroom outside of the building. A field trip is taking the classroom out into the environment. Are they talking about a variety of different field trips, or they're asking the board to consider additional funding so that we can have more field trips? Or is it both?
I would say it's both. I would
Okay.
say they want more funding for more field trips. I think that's how they see it. Like, we have more money. We have more money to use towards getting out there, transportation, stuff like that. I definitely feel like both of those are what
Okay,
they were
I was
trying
just
to.
curious.
Any other questions,
Okay.
comments?
That's it. I don't see anybody else. Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the consideration of a readmission case number 2017-18/07. Board members, please indicate your preference by electronic vote, please.
Motion first. Move for approval.
Second, I have a question.
Yes,
I don't have, never mind, I got it, never mind, I'm looking at the wrong line.
right.
Thank you.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? At this time, please indicate your preference through electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
The next item on the agenda is consideration of readmission case 2017-18/08. What is the board's pleasure?
Move for approval.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, board members, please indicate your preference through electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
6 yes votes, 2 no, it passes.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Monthly report, curriculum and instruction, Dr. Nguyen. Nita Nguyen, thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Parent, Vice Chairman Williams, members of the board, Dr. Bracy. It's always my pleasure to give you the monthly curriculum and instruction report. I draw your attention once again to the report that is listed in board docs. And in addition to that tonight, we have a very special treat. As you know, we have a program that supports our English second language learners. And tonight, we have one of our students here from Woodrow Wilson High School who will be speaking about her experience in that program here in Portsmouth Public Schools. Rodmir Arshado is a senior at Woodrow Wilson High School. She is the daughter of Jean Arshado, and she plans to attend college after graduation and hopes to be a pediatric nurse. Mia, as she is affectionately called, works at Subway, and she enjoys listening to music, watching Korean dance, drama, and attending church in her spare time. Ultimately, she wants to give back to others and provide support to those who are not native English speakers. She is attended tonight by her teacher, Ms. Jean Walzak, and her mentor, Ms. Leah Stith. Mia, would you come up, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
May I ask how you all doing today?
We're doing great.
Okay. Well, as you all know, my name is Rodmia Arshadu. Thank you. I go by the name Mia. I am a senior at Woodrow Wilson High School. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and came to the United States when I was 11 years old. My dad, who is a single parent, and I were refugees after the earthquake. We came to Virginia, where some of my other family already lived. When I first came to the United States, I didn't speak any English at all. When I said at all, I mean 0%. The only word I knew was bathroom, basically. At the time, I lived in Suffolk in a house with 12 family members and stayed there for 1 year. When I was 12 and moved in 6th grade, we moved to Portsmouth, where I attend Woodrow Hodges Manor. To be honest, I cried every day because I didn't understand English. And I was very frustrated because I didn't know how to answer questions when people were greeting me saying, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Or trying to make friends with me. Or when a cute guy was trying to approach me. For me, ESL class felt like home, like a home I've never had. The teacher took their time with me to explain things and help me learn English. They told me to take one step at a time. ESL class was the only class I looked forward to. Because I didn't feel judged, no one laughed at me, and no one pointed fingers at me. The more I went to ESL class, the more comfortable I felt speaking outside of ESL class. My dad is not extremely educated, and I'm sure there are many parents out there that are not extremely educated. They just focus on their kids, trying to work hard and provide for their kids. My dad gave up school for me so I can go to school. So as a result, he could not always help me with my homework.
Okay, babe.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So when we go to, when we have teacher, parent, and conference, he would not attend those. I mean, sometimes he would attend them, but, so I would sit by his side. He would always say, "Hey, Mia, what are they saying?" So which means I would have to explain every word to him. He was always working, so I was always home alone. Sorry. Sorry. In high school, the works got harder. Algebra got harder. Science got harder. I'm sorry, but I'm not a big fan of science. Everybody has a favorite subject, but science, no, I can't do science. My ESL teacher encouraged me every day to get an education. She taught me that graduating high school was important. It could get me a good paying job, and I could provide for my dad and I and my grandma. After graduation in June, I will be attending college for nursing. My goal is to be a pediatric nurse, and I also want to continue learning other languages like Spanish or Korean, because most of my friends are Spanish, and I love watching Korean drama, as you know. I also want to help at the doctor office, help families to understand better, because I remember the time when I go to the doctor office and I didn't understand a thing that they were saying, and neither did my dad. So as a result, we would have to get a translator to either translate in French or Creole. One day, I want to be an ESL teacher, and it's not because it's an easy job, or you can just explain to the kids, like start from A, B, C, E, F, G. No, not because of that, but because I see what we go through, and I see what others don't see in us. And I just want to make sure to let those kids know, like, I also went through the same thing, and it's okay. You will get through it. And it doesn't end just by you giving up or saying, like, you know what, I'll just do construction work or wash the dishes because I need the money to pay my bills. But I also want to let them know that education will get them somewhere. I just want to make a difference as well. Thank you.
I think we all need to feel the love. Thank you. Thank you. You want your family up? Yes. Oh, that's her teacher. And just sit. Somebody else will get here. Come on. I'll tell you for you.
Because you were elementary principal. Come on, Dr.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Yes. That was the inspiring.
All right, Ms. Hines, do you want to make another comment?
Yes, board chair and board members, thank you for indulging in the love fest for Miss Mia. We often hear about our students who soar. We hear about students who struggle, but we don't always acknowledge the fact that language barriers create a whole new level of barrier for our students, because it's not just the language, it's the parent piece, it's the parent involvement piece. And being somebody who overlooked ESL for a few years in another smaller division, but still saw those same challenges, for you to have come here at 11 and not know a lick of English, and to stand in front of us and to do what very few people do, which is speak in public. Mia, my gosh, I am impressed. You have a village that comes along with you, and I want to thank that village as well. And to hear you say that you want to give back and you want to inspire and that you want to help other students, not because, like you said, it's an easy job, but because you've been there and you know what it is, that just makes me as a teacher inspired to go and to be a better person than what I was today in the classroom. So you speaking tonight hit me on too many different levels for me to even explain to you, but I want to say to you and to your village that is here with you, thank you. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for bringing her out of her shell, for her to feel value and have a place with us. So Mia, thank you so much.
Mr. Lamb?
Thank you, Chairman Parent. I think it's appropriate now to kind of tell a little secret history. Some of you were wondering how I knew Korean. Some of you are laughing. The reason why is because I taught English as a second language in South Korea for 4 years. So understanding how to teach English we take advantage of, but it is one of the most difficult languages to learn because we have so many idioms and so many words that means the same thing, and you just can't stay up with it. So it's very difficult to learn, but I do remember going to South Korea. I did not know a word of South Korean. I didn't even know bathroom. So for me, it was mixed up sign language kind of conversation. So I applaud you for accomplishing what you've accomplished, and with that determination and desire, you're going to do great things. I applaud your family, especially when you see families sacrifice. It sounds as though as your father very much has. You're greatly admired from many of us all of us on this board, and you're greatly loved. So thank you for being here.
And Mia, I might need your help because one of the members of my church is adopting 2 children from Haiti, and so they're on their way back. And so I might get in touch with you to help these 2 young children to make that transition. Yes.
And so can I just add to close this out that we're very proud of Mia. She is one of the star students in our ESL program, but
Yeah.
as we are continuing to see the devastation that has occurred in the islands and
Right.
in our own United States territory, we are seeing an influx of those students, and we've seen an increase recently from students coming from Puerto Rico and from Haiti and some of the other islands, and we anticipate that our ESL population will grow.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is discussion. School Psychology Awareness Week, November 13th through the 17th. Theme, Power Up, be a positive change. The role of the school psychologist in Portsmouth. Dr. Bracy.
Thank you, Chairman Parent. Mr. Thomas Burns is here to speak on that with us this evening.
Hi, good evening, Mr.
evening.
Chairman. Mia was a very tough act to follow, but I promise I'll do my best. In starting, I wanted to say that I really am appreciative and respectful of the time that you've allotted me today. My name is Tom Burns. I'm a school psychologist, and I've worked with Portsmouth for 27 years. I'm also the department head, which is how I got to stand up here. With me tonight, that you'll meet later, is our members of my department that kind of came out. I decided last spring, as I was answering a series of questions for the budget, that what we really needed to focus on this year is to become walking billboards for school psychology as a profession. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that because the theme for School Psych Awareness Week is Power Up, Be a Positive Change Agent. And psychologists are one of many departments in Portsmouth that work cooperatively together to enhance student performance and hopefully as they go through school to make a successful transition into the world of work or into college, whichever they choose. It is a cooperative effort, but unfortunately I came tonight to talk to you about psychologists, so that's what I'm going to do. The bulk of our responsibilities, as you know, is mandated by federal law. And we spend over 50% of our time in special education activities related to assessment, making sure that the assessment is appropriate for the child that is being tested, to make sure that instruments are valid, and to make sure that the correct decisions are made in accordance with federal law. That is an awesome responsibility that we spend a lot of our time in via meetings, working with children, and in eligibility hearings. We also focus on the discipline side in the manifestation determination hearings, which I know you all are familiar with. It is our responsibility at that point to review the IEP, to review all of the existing documentation, and to see if the behavior has a direct and substantial relationship to the handicapping condition. And as you know, that is a job that we take very seriously and very individually, but does unfortunately take up a lot of our time and, you know, with discipline. We also do crisis counseling. We work really hard in all of our schools. We serve, and I gave you this in the background information, we serve all schools, including the preschool centers and New Direction Center. We are on call for crisis intervention. We do short-term counseling. We also do a lot of referrals to community agencies. As you can see from our things, our department activities also include services on a variety of district committees, which I won't mention, but they are listed for you. State advocacy agencies, as in the State School Psychologist Organization. Juvenile court, I've worked with the juvenile court in the Juvenile Conference Committee for over 15 years. And also we serve with other departments on truancy. This is just a sampling of what we do for the children of Portsmouth and that we feel has a positive impact on instruction. This week, we are going to focus our efforts on letting people know what services are available to the children, what services are available to them, and begin the process of connecting with the other departments that we work with so we can all get together and work together to fulfill the mission of Portsmouth, which is purpose, passion, and promise that is Portsmouth. Lastly, I wanted to introduce the psychologists that came with us tonight. You have in your packet the schools that they serve, so we won't go into that. So if y'all would stand, I'll introduce you. Right here is Michaela McCracken. Next to her is Debbie Mays. To the back is Donna Sealand, Deanna Staler, and Paula Shirk. Not being able to be with us tonight is Steve Fannin, Dr. Diana Rexosh, and Barbara Banzi. So thank you again for your time. Our office is room 7 at Clark. If y'all have any questions about school psychology, questions about the services in our school division, please feel free to stop in and talk to us. We're very friendly people. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Dr. Bryce.
Mr. Burns, thank you for sharing, and I do look forward to having lunch with you all next week.
Oh, yes, it's the top on our agenda. We even have a surprise for you at that time. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I look forward to it. This is our annual luncheon that we have each year, so I enjoy the time with the psychologist. For some reason, I come out feeling a whole lot better.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Burns, hold up just a minute.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Whitaker?
Yeah, I did have a quick question.
Sure.
I was looking at the packet that was submitted,
Yes, ma'am.
and it said that you have 1 doctoral level psychologist
Mm-hmm.
and then 9 specialists with specialists. What type of degrees do these specialists have?
The specialists all have master's degrees and educational specialist degrees in school psychology. The state requires that the master's degree doesn't have to be in school psychology, but the educational specialist degree does to meet the state criteria.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Seeing
Okay.
no more
Thank you.
questions? Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is electronic vote, consideration of an animation art course. What's the board's pleasure?
Move for approval. Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Seeing no, we've got Ms. Hines.
Of course it's Ms. Hines.
Sure it's Ms. Hines.
Curriculum. I'm excited to offer this, and we discussed it in our pre-work session, because when I read the course offering and I read whatever's going to go in the course description book that we have. All I could hear was VHSL and state champions, because I remembered we had an animation club that went up. So I'm excited to offer this. I'm excited to deepen the portfolio that Portsmouth offers, not only for our system, but for the students as well that are moving through that. And this just adds another course into our specialty schools, another offering. So I'm excited to see some growth. That's not necessarily core subject. I mean, I'm, social studies person. I like to see more social studies courses, but not everybody is a core person, and I get that. And so we, in an effort to meet everybody and give everybody growth opportunities, I'm excited for this course. So thank you for bringing it forward, and I'll be dropping by in the spring to see what's going on. But I can't draw a stick figure, so I'll just observe. Thank you.
Any more? Seeing no more discussion, board members, please indicate your preference. Electronic vote, please. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is presentations, employee groups, budget and salary requests for 2018-19 school year. Madam Clerk, I believe we have speakers.
Yes. Ms. Eva Williams.
Good evening,
Good
Dr.
evening.
Bracy,
Good evening.
Chairman, parents, and other board members. My name is Eva Williams, and I am representing the Instructional Educators Advisory Board. I am here before you to ask the pay for instructional educators and to convince you of the need of a general wage increase, as well as the need for an equal pay scale that is set. Instructional educators throughout the Portsmouth District look for wages that equals that of neighboring districts. Other schools in the Hampton Roads district has increased in their hourly rates from $7.25 to $24.15. Some districts in Hampton Roads areas have increased annually salaries from $14,000 to $28,000. However, we find that through receiving at least a 10% increase, we will need adequate compensation which will equal to the hourly wages of a teacher whenever an instructional educator is utilized as a substitute for a teacher. Instructional educators in the Portsmouth district are paid less than the surrounding districts. They are working full-time hours but are receiving poverty-level pay. The 10% increase in wages would be a step in the right direction. Instructional educators truly offer an advantage to employers to educate themselves, and they are likely to continue to pursue their educational field. Instructional education perform a wide range of increased duties and therefore should be compensated for such duties performed. We have 100% highly qualified instructional educators without monetary incentive. Offering instructional educators a great incentive is a step in the right direction towards fulfilling our goal. Clearly, instructional educators are compensated nearly enough for the insurmountable work that they do. Along with teachers, instructional educators have the same task in our efforts to educate the children. We ask that you will approve a budget that includes a general wage increase of 10%. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Madam Clerk, the next speaker, please.
Ms. Juanita Jones.
Superintendent Bracy, Chairman Parent, members and school board, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Juanita Jones. I'm the president of the Portsmouth Education Association, and the goal of the PEA shall be to promote, improve, create an interest in, to generally benefit or advance the status of education profession, create good community relationships between the members of the education profession, students, parents, and the community, increase competency in the education profession by training, continued education, and by other means designed to advance the welfare of the members of the profession. The members of our profession are a vital, important part of the functioning society. After community children leave their homes, they encounter crossing guards that get them to the bus safely, and then they meet our bus drivers who greet them and transport them to the school safely and on time. The children are then greeted by the custodians that give them a clean, functioning building to spend their day in. And our beloved cafeteria workers serve the children a nutritious, good-tasting breakfast and will see them through the morning and lunchtime. And to be real about it, sometimes that's the only meal that they will receive. In need be, our nurses are on standby by the children to have medical needs. Our guidance counselors guide and counsel our children so they may function within our schools. And our secretaries are the foundation, backbones for many schools and administration, keeping them functioning and on time. And finally, our children are taught by our teachers and paraprofessionals who prepare them to become intelligent, functional, and participatory adults as they navigate from kindergarten to the 12th grade. And without these collaborations, where would our children be? Where would you be had you been today for the guidance and preparation of each individual above? Now tell us, Dr. Bracy and school board members, what do you think we are worth? We usually come here asking for a 2%. Tonight we are requesting 3%. There is a multiplicity of needs in Portsmouth Public Schools, but we will deal with those matters with Dr. Bracy in our regular meetings. Tonight, we want to focus on the budget concerns on increasing the pay that this community educators, bus drivers, custodians, cafeteria workers, nurses, counselors, secretaries, and paraprofessionals and teachers. Ladies and gentlemen of Portsmouth Public Schools, do the right thing by us, and you will ensure a productive, cohesive, and less violent society, and the state continue for a long partnership with Portsmouth Board Administration and all the educators of Portsmouth Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Oh, Ms. Hines?
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you for coming up here. Thank you for reminding everybody what a student's day is, because it isn't just about the classroom. It's about the building that they walk in and the bus that they ride and the food that they receive and the cleanliness of the building. I would also encourage you to take that same speech to council.
I am.
And give that imagery of a student's day to council as well, because we can sit here and we can push for a 3%, but we are limited to what we get from them as well as what the state gets. We have more influence at city council level, and like you and like most of us on the board, we continue to have those conversations. So just know we are pushing as well. I just want to make sure that you're going to give that speech to council as well.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes, October 12th, 2017, October 26th, 2017. What is the board's pleasure?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, board members, please indicate your preference for electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have discussion, public comment, non-agenda items. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
No speakers.
Thank you. Moving right along. Public comment, board agenda items. Do we have any speakers?
No speakers.
No speakers. Okay, thank you. The next item is the monthly report of the Human Resources and Operation. Mr. Scott Ziegler.
Good evening, Chairman Parent, Vice Chairman Williams. You all have my written report in front of you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't think that board members have any questions.
Very well, then I would ask that the board consider the November 2017 employee transaction report.
Okay. Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Mrs. Hines.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, Mr. Ziegler, thank you for the update on the vacancies that we have. I know November, and it still feels like we're just now getting our feet under us from June through July, June through August. So I wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you to Human Resources' continued efforts to get people here and to get our students qualified teachers, because I know the farther you get into the school year, it is a struggle. So thank you for your continued efforts to get out the word and to get qualified, wonderful people here for our students. So just thank you.
Sure. And thank your HR committee, because they said, Mr. Ziegler, we need more detail on your report. And so I'm happy to oblige.
Seeing no more discussion, board members, please indicate your preference by electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
Thank you. I don't know what's happening there. The next item is the superintendent's monthly report. Dr. Bracey.
Thank you, Chairman Parent. My report is before you. What I would like to just share is that I was able to complete the meetings with the advisory teams. As Ian mentioned, I've had the pleasure of having him with me when I met with the students. We had great dialogue, as always. At the next meeting in January, we will have Jim Gelhoff from Food Services come and meet with them. They had a lot of questions that they wanted to talk about the food. They were very complimentary because of the meetings that we had last year where we invited him out, and some of the changes that were made in presentation and the offering of pizza on a regular basis. They were very enthused about that. So they wanted him to come back so that they could at least thank him and then share some other concerns about some other items that they would like to see. But it was a good session overall. The parents provided some valuable information. The teachers shared some information that I shared with our principals at our meeting yesterday. So taking advantage of the information that's received and making sure that it's going to those that need to hear it so that we can make any adjustments that's needed. The last thing I would like to do, I would like to pass out the VSBA Award of Recognition, the certificates that when we were at Hodges Manor, I conveniently left in the car. So I wanted to make sure that I brought those back and delivered them at this time. And I will read one. We have three: Reverend Patillo, Mrs. Williams, and Mr. Parent. So I will read one so that you will know what's on the certificates. And it's the Virginia School Boards Association Award of Recognition. This award is presented to Cardell Patillo, Costello B. Williams, and Claude Parent for your commitment to effective school board governance through your participation in VSBA School Board Academy for the year 2016-2017. Congratulations.
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 Thank you, sir. That it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is board members' comments and concerns. Do we have? I'm sorry, but my screen has gone blank, so I have nothing. It just went down.
We have to vote on DA.
His screen.
I tell you, my screen, in other words, I can't see any of you that want to speak to it. It's gone blank. So you just have to raise your hand if you want to speak.
Do you need a move for
The
approval?
next item, excuse me, I'm sorry, I drew a line through it. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the policy DA management of funds. Motion's been made and second. Do I have any discussion? Because I will not be able to see anything. If you do, just raise your hands. Hearing no discussion, board members, please indicate your preference through electronic vote. Madam Clerk?
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Dr. Bracy, this is more towards the policy of KF. And I know that there's been a lot of discussion about it, but can we please clarify for interested parties, maybe why it was pulled and what policy is in place now so that there is no communication gap or communication error? Because there still is a lot of back and forth with some locations and some organizations about how we do things. The conversation I've had this week has been practice versus policy. And so I think it would be beneficial for us to explain what's going on with this policy to interested groups so that they know where we are rather than just taking it off and not giving any discussion to it. That's if you feel comfortable speaking to it.
Dr. Bracy, you can go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Hines, with the situation with the policy now as it stands, for those that don't know, at the last meeting, the board asked us to work with the attorney to look at a policy that would meet the needs that we have as far as what is something that the items that we will allow to be shared and distributed through schools, what that process would look like in terms of the type of material, whether it will go home through school distribution, through backpacks, or through our current process with Peach Jar. So we pulled it because we have not come up with the new legislation that we're going to use yet. So what that means now is that we will follow the current procedure that's in place, that we will utilize Peach Jar for communication that's going home. Because right now, with nothing changing, that's the policy that we're still under. So as far as information that would be going home, Peach Jar is still available. We still will approve the items that will be going, just to make sure that it falls in line with the current policy. So organizations that are partnering with the school, those are items that can and will be looked upon as being submitted through the school, through the backpack, if it's something that the school would actually do. So if you're a PTA and it's a school-sponsored event, then as the school would normally send information home, that information would go through the backpacks with them. Okay. Otherwise, they would use Peach Jar if it's just a PTA activity for themselves. They would utilize Peach Jar. But if it's in conjunction with the school, then it can go home. And any other organization that is a true partner with the school, that's school-led.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is board members' comments and concerns. And I can't see you, so you'll just have to raise your hand if you want to speak. Anybody want to speak? Hearing none?
I would just like to say happy Thanksgiving.
Amen.
Yes.
Because we won't see
Nope.
you.
No.
It's a wonderful holiday.
The
Have a
last
happy
item on
holiday.
the agenda is, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to
Yes.
Motion's been made and second to
Second.
adjourn. All those in
8:20.
favor? Happy Thanksgiving.
adjourn. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.